Welcome back to More Than a Brand. In this episode with Renee, you will learn the importance of asking the question, why? Why does this happen? And why do things work this way? Renee will tell you about her journey of pivoting how she responds in her life and in her business, and how she has built it into a business that she's proud of and it aligns with who she is. Continue listening to this episode if you want to understand how why impacts your bottom line and start having fun in your business again. Thanks for listening. Welcome to More Than a Brand podcast, where we show you how to take your brand from basic to badass. I'm your host, Lindsay Trammell Jones, the WordPress Whisperer, the Olivia Pope of Web Design, and the owner of Fiercified Creative and Consulting. I invite you to sit back, grab your favorite glass of wine, and your note takers, because I'm dropping jewels all season long. Thanks for listening. Hello, I am here with the marketing maven, Renee Nicole of Renee Nicole Global, and she is amazing. You're going to love her accent, first of all. She's a mom, she's holding it down, and she's registered both where she's at and in the US, holds a lot of titles, knows how to do a lot of things. But outside of all of that, Renee, tell me who you are without the titles.
Okay, so first and foremost, I think I am a thinker and a reflector, regardless of where I am or what I'm doing. I'm always analyzing things and reflecting on the reason things, whether it's business related, whether it's personal, whether it's observing like something in my environment or in my community. It's always why are people doing those things that they're doing, or why did I take that particular action, why did they take that particular action? And also given the fact that we have so much there's so much things that we're contending with now in the world today, like previously I find a lot of us were just going through the motions, we checking off all the boxes, we're like, yes, they said to do this thing because to achieve
Yes.
this particular outcome, and we just blindly following this predetermined path that they said would work, and then you did it and
It was a
it's
scam.
not quite working how I thought it would. Why is that? Like honestly, asking why is pretty much the driving force behind, what should I say, decisions that I have made,
Mhm.
and where I am in my business, my life and my business today. Because you realize that you were just doing things by rote or just because other people said that's what you should be doing, and it's like, should I be doing this? Is this how I actually need
Yes.
to live my life?
Exactly.
You know,
I
so yeah.
I think, and I think we're pretty close in age, but I
Mhm.
think that our generation, we were raised to do, you go to college, you get a good job, and you're gonna do
Yes.
this, and you're gonna do this, and you check. And then somewhere along the way, and I think is beautiful that we grew up pre-internet kind of
Yeah.
pre-internet, and to the point where it's like everywhere, that we were open up to a world that we didn't see when we had our blinders on, trying to go from point A to point B and checking all the boxes. I really like that for our community, and I love that you said that you are a reflective person and it's helped some of your decisions. And before we started
Mm,
recording, we you talked about you and how you pivoted in your business.
yeah.
How has reflecting got you to that point where you're like, this ain't it?
Okay. Basically, I was in a I'm in a group coaching program,
Mhm.
and we get like it's not really a hot seat, but it's you get coaching twice a week as part of the program. And usually I prepare some questions to come in to ask for the coaching session. And basically the question was, how can I work with people in the way that I want to work with them without it being a retainer service? Like,
Mm.
why? Because I recognize that, and the reason why I asked that question was because I recognize, given all of the things that are going on in my life, I do not have the capacity to work with multiple people on a what on call retainer basis, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so the question was, how can I redesign my business to work in a way that actually works for me and how I want to show up? Because I have multiple conditions. I have a son. I made a major life transition last year. Um, and grappling with all of those things, and you just recognize that your capacity is limited. So how do you generate the revenue that you want to generate in the way that you want to do it to be able to accomplish all of those things, but also not have to constantly be on call? And it's the on call part of it. Like I'm not against, obviously,
Yeah.
working hard or working with clients and delivering good service to people, but it was like a lot of us realize, and I made a post about it also on social media. We built a business that was someone else's idea of what business
Yes.
should be like, or following someone else's blueprint for what business should be like. And it's, you get to create your own path. You get to make it work in the way that you want it to work. Came up essentially with the idea, and this is not a new idea, but I somehow, what should I say, I decided this is how it's going to work for me, of a recurring quarterly intensive. So that's how you work with me. Because the thing is, I do like to work in sprints. I
Mhm.
do focus intensely on something and give someone a deliverable, and then be available, not necessarily, not be like mic drop, walk away, but
Yeah. Here you go.
yeah, but be more of a advisor and answerer of questions or reviewer of things, as opposed to hardcore in the business day-to-day activities where things are heavily reliant on you being
Hmm.
present every day. And as answering that question helped me to let go of certain things, because it was like, no, but I like doing this. and and you think that this is the thing that you should be doing, on the way that you should show up. But the other question that I asked myself too was, how can I still get do this thing without making it like a core service? So I'm really good at operations, I'm good at organizing things.
Yeah.
So I thought at one point, yes, I should be ops person, your project manager, that kind of thing. And I am really good at it, because I had an agency at one point, and I created a ton of processes to be able to function smoothly from the agency standpoint. And I'm just good at noticing things with clients and like creating templates and all that kind of thing. So I'm like, how can I do that still without being an on call ops person? Right.
Hmm.
And the answer was, just give them a project plan. Like, it does not have to be rocket science or like
No.
some big elaborate, what should I say, retainer package. It's, listen,
Hmm.
people just actually want things more organized, and they just don't want to know what to do. So you create the strategy, and you give them an execution plan. And then you have the opportunity to check in, okay, what's going on? Is it working? Is it not working? You get to make adjustments. So again, you still get the analysis piece, you still get the connection piece,
Hmm.
it's providing a service, but it's not as
It's not as
pressure
hands
filled.
on.
Yeah, it's not as
Oh.
pressure filled. So that's why I went in the direction that I did, and it's like a relief, because I'm like, yes, I still get to do the things that I want to do, is just in a different way. So I think that's the other thing. Like, you just questioning why enables you to come up with more creative ways of getting things done. It's, if I don't want to do it this way, what are the other options?
Hmm.
So yeah.
So, how did you feel before you made that? Before you did all the reflecting, figured
Mhm.
out this is not the way that I want to do things? Because I've done it myself, and I rebranded my business in
Mhm.
20 last year. So I
Mhm.
rebranded last year. I started focusing more on customer experience because I decided, once I did some research, I realized that when I'm building websites, I'm doing more than just building the website. I'm
Yeah.
asking them a million questions because all these things
Mhm.
have to be connected. I can't just slap the pages up there and say figure out
Mhm.
the buttons.
Yeah.
So it ended up being I'm going further beyond the website fence, I guess will be the best
Right.
way to explain it. How did and before I made that pivot, I felt like I was putting a title on myself that didn't really fit. So
Mhm.
before you made it the pivot, how did you feel about what you were doing in your business?
I felt like people weren't clear on what exactly it is I was doing, like how I could help people and what it is I was known for. I've gone through several iterations in my business. I did a lot of launches, and I was known as the go to launch strategist, and I was trying to move away from that. So then I
Mhm,
moved into marketing and operations. I
mhm.
feel like I was offering too many things as well in the business. So it just felt like too much, essentially, and that
Yeah.
there was no clear. as I said, thing that I'm known for, or way that I can help people, because there's all of these different things that you can do and that you created packages around. And now it's I'm we're not doing all of that. There's three ways that you can get support from me. So there's the
Yes.
audit, there is the intensive, and I do have a retainer, but it's only on an agency basis. I essentially develop the strategy, and there are people who can do the actual
To
grunt
work.
work piece. I'm not, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not
I
trying to be on call.
I feel that. Like my retainer shifted. So at one point my retainer was like, I'll create the pages and I'll do all these things and I'm gonna be essentially an employee. And then my once I started getting more clear about what I wanted to offer, also my retainer has shifted to I'm going to create more strategy and we're going to do more discussing like how are we moving the needle and what's not working. And then if there's like small things, yes, I'll go in and I'll fix something, but for the most part it's my brain that I'm using, not necessarily creating when it comes to the retainer. So I just feel like it works best when you're busy. You're busy with everything else. Like you don't have the time. You have the expertise, and when you're multi passionate and multi talented, it sometimes it gets in your way because you want to do all the things. But then once you hone in, you start figuring out what actually really works.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So I wanted to ask you.
Mhm.
So you said that it didn't feel good. Oh, it was too much how you were
Mhm.
doing previously.
Yeah.
Did it, besides this feeling too much, was there any other point or something else that happened maybe in your life that you want to share, or maybe something
Mhm.
that happened like outside, like the economy changed or something like that, that
Mhm.
made you say like this isn't it?
There's several things. There's always something that happens that like, makes you think, what does this mean?
Mhm.
What is the deeper meaning behind this? And one obvious thing is the fact that the market has shifted
It
and
has.
the sales cycle is longer for some of us. People are way more, I don't know if skeptical is the word, but they take a longer time to deliberate before making an investment. I think the market was always savvy, but now because they are a little bit more mindful of what they're investing in, like you can't use the same tactics that you were using before,
Mhm.
because a lot of people were really good at saying things people wanted to hear, but not actually
Yes.
delivering. And that is a huge thing for me, which that I also, what's the word? Analyze is not the word, but I'm clear on with my clients. I'm not just here to, as a marketing strategist, to make you money. Like you actually need to be delivering something of
Mhm.
value to the people. So I'm not going to help you sell any and everything. Have you delivered this thing? Do you have results?
Do they even want it?
Do
Do the
you, like,
people want
again,
it?
if you come to me, but also, is this what you yourself actually want to sell? Because a lot of people come and they're like, oh, my coach told me I should sell a membership or a course, or I followed so and so's blueprints, and I
Mhm.
did exactly what they did. And I'm like, yes, I guess that you did exactly what they did, but did you do what you wanted to do? Like, past experience has shown me, like, if you work with people doing something that they're not really invested in, then you don't get the results that you want, because your heart is not in it and you don't believe in it as much as you need to. So which I think I'm guided by that now, in terms of, I say marketing is not selling things to people so that they can buy. It's getting people to believe in your product or service as much as you believe in your product or
Yeah.
service. It's
And if
not.
you don't believe, they're not gonna believe.
Exactly. So that's one thing that happened. And there's actually something that happened recently. Now, this is a personal thing, and this is not a slight against the person, but
Mhm.
it's just to highlight a personal experience that I connected to something in the business, because they say things like, essentially being an entrepreneur, being a business owner is like one of the biggest personal development journeys you'll ever make. So the personal is not divorced from business by any stretch of the imagination.
Mm.
My son's dad came to pick up my son from school. This was earlier this week. And he brought the shoes, but they weren't clean. And that was the first day of school. So I'm like, oh, we need to clean the shoes, but also, do you not have shoe polish? And he was like, what shoe polish? And I'm like, no, I moved out of the house last year.
Yeah.
And before I moved out, I made sure that everything was organized. So, like, I hired a cleaner. The cleaner cleaned the house. I did not. I was one of those bitter people who was like, I'm taking everything, and
I'm out of here.
so yeah, I was like, no, let me make sure you're still comfortable and organized and stuff. So he's what shoe polish. I'm like, sir, there is a lovely tiered black basket next to the laundry sink that has all of the products available for you to use. What do you mean? You live there. What do you mean? What do you mean? What shoe polish? But
Lord have
I'm sharing that because it was literally in that moment where I was like hit by a bus by the realization. Sometimes it does not matter how much you do for people. If they don't see the value in what you do, it is
Yeah.
not going to make a difference. And that is a business lesson. Stop trying to sell to people who don't see the value in what you do.
Oh, I love that.
Yes,
Mm.
because a lot of times marketing, we're like, you have to do this and why you need a this. I'm not going to ask anybody why they need a marketing strategist or email because I'm focusing now on email marketing and content, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is I'm shifting my focus away from like coaching industry and more into the fashion industry, beauty industry, creative industries, travel and leisure, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing, right? Because one, I have a lot of experience in like travel events, um, huge experience in beauty industry. I was a former salon pro. Like I work with major black-owned hair care brands. I've been involved in product development, brand launches, like new product launches, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very intimately familiar with the from the buyer standpoint and also from a practitioner standpoint and a
Yeah.
service provider standpoint. Talking to people who already know that yes, I need marketing support, but what kind of marketing support do I need? And you come across my content and you say, okay, I like email. I've sold via email. I want to sell more via email. Then you say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, Rennie has this particular approach that she takes to building community engagement, selling products and services using email marketing and content marketing strategies. And you're like, okay, I like her approach. So I'm not going to be like selling to somebody who's like,
Yeah.
oh no, there's 10 reasons why you need an email marketing strategy.
Yeah.
Then you will never see a blog post about that. You will not.
No. I
So
like that. I
yeah.
like that value because if people don't value what you do, they scope creep, and that's what I've in my
Yeah.
experience.
Or they
Uh,
have unrealistic expectations in terms of, oh, why didn't we get an ROI? Like, why isn't this done yet? And it's, why we just started. Just
yeah.
please take time. Like they have demands and they have very unrealistic expectations, and it's your job to guide the client, yes, but it's also not your job to make decisions for the client about their business. Like they have to want it. You make decisions or you give suggestions or guidelines based on your area of expertise and how their business fits into that for their vision. But you can't make someone do
You can't
something.
force them.
Yeah.
I, so I have a 9 to 5 also. I'm active
Mhm.
duty military, and
Right.
my job is to advise people on things like
Mhm.
manning and resources and stuff like that what we need
Right.
for the organization. And that's something I feel like I say every day. Like I can give you the advisement, but if you don't take it, that's on you.
Yeah.
That's your responsibility. I can
Yeah.
advise, I can project, I can tell you what should happen next or what we
Hmm.
need next, but it's ultimately your decision. It's your responsibility to make it happen. And if you
Yeah.
don't take that advisement,
That's on you.
that sound like a you problem.
Yeah.
That's
I did
becoming
my
my
part.
I did my
I did
part.
my
I don't know
part.
what y'all want from me.
Yeah.
So yes, you cannot force people.
Yeah.
So young Renee,
Mhm.
10-year-old Renee,
Oh boy.
is she proud? Okay.
Definitely proud, yeah, because I've always been a pretty ambitious person, go
Mhm.
getter. I didn't think, I honestly, at 10 years old, I did not envision myself being a business owner, but I did envision myself being successful.
Okay. What did you want
Yeah,
to do when you were 10? Wanted to be successful. Did you have like
yeah, I wanted to be a doctor, and I quickly realized that I absolutely despise hospitals and sick people. I was like, no, we're not doing that. We're
That's
not.
so funny.
Yeah.
I feel like young us always are like
Mhm.
young me at one point wanted to be a neurosurgeon. That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna do. But I was gonna do it for children. And then once I got
Oh.
older, first of all, I'm not going to school for that long. That's way too long.
Mhm.
I'm ready to be done. as I've gotten to know myself, I know me me now would be crying in the operating room. Glad I didn't make
Oh,
that.
one of my best friends is a pediatrician, and I don't know how she does it. Like sick children, oh, my heart. I can't. I cannot. Yeah, I'd be devastated every time. I don't. I
I'll
would
be the
cry every
worst.
day. I would cry every day at work. Oh no. Oh no,
So
no, no.
young me did
Yeah.
not know older me would be crying in the at the
Yeah, you learn.
hospital.
Yeah, you
So
learn so much about like your own temperament and your capacity
hmm
to tolerate things as you get older. So yeah, I realized quickly. I was like, no, hospitals are not for me. Then I wanted to be a lawyer, and I was like, no, the boring black and navy blue
oh
suits and
yeah.
the weird wigs also not for me. I have no.
The wigs.
I have so much. I have too much personality for the legal profession.
That is funny.
Yeah,
That
I'm
is
not.
funny.
I'm a rule follower, but also a rule breaker. Like it's a very strange line that I walk. So it's more of a I
Yes.
will absolutely use the crosswalk when crossing the street, but do not tell me what to do with my life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel that wholeheartedly. Like
yeah.
my friend Jack and her episode will be out like right before yours, but
Hmm.
she talks about she said, y'all, me and people like me are unexpected. What does she call us? Rule breakers. So
Hmm.
y'all are changing the way things are made, but you're not trying to. You're just like
Yes.
this.
Yeah. I don't. This is not working. What else can we do? Let's do
And
it.
it's not a loud march in the street rule
Hmm.
breaking. It's just like
Yeah.
this
This
don't
is
work. Let's try something else.
no. Yeah, and this is my life. And if you
I only
think
got
I'm a
one.
good example, great. If you think I'm a pest and a menace to the human race, that's
Yeah.
okay as well. Totally fine.
Yeah.
You're entitled to your opinion. Yeah.
You sure are. Some people, I think it's like I said, it's beautiful that our generation has
Hmm.
decided to start living life on our own terms. And I feel like at
Yeah.
an earlier age, maybe the generations before us, because they didn't have I'll say the resources, they didn't really have the
Yeah.
resources
Resources.
to just
Or even,
decide, I ain't doing
yeah.
this.
Or
So,
even the kind of discussions that we have, because you asked me who am I with all the title, I also had like three other things that I wanted to say, which I didn't get around to saying. But
go ahead, say it.
I also consider myself a presenter of options, because
Okay.
that's the thing that we don't realize. There's other things outside of this narrow path. So
Mm.
I've recognized that I'm somebody who shows people that there's more to life than just this one way of doing things. Like one of my mottos in life, and I'm going to get it tattooed somewhere on my body, is there's always another way, right? There's
Yes.
always like from since I know myself, because again, I'm a problem solver as well. Thing number three.
Mhm.
It's always how can we fix this? What's a creative way to fix this? I've tried these different ways of doing things. What is another way that we can try doing this, right? And
Yeah.
that again, that has happened in my personal life. Like I was really sick for a long time, went to a bunch of doctors, did a bunch of medical tests, and everybody's like, we don't really know what's wrong with you. We'll give you this particular diagnosis that they give people when they have no idea medically what the hell is
Yeah.
wrong with you. I was like, oh, so we're all flying around in the dark.
Yeah.
In that
Laughing.
case, I will figure it out myself.
Yeah.
And I started to do my research, and I came across some alternative options. And I tried those things, and
Mm.
I'm in a much different place I am now, health wise, than I was 10, 12 years ago. And literally at that point, I was like, there must be another way to fix this problem, because conventional medicine, and I'm not obviously not anti-conventional medicine. It's just that
Mhm.
their methods were not working for me.
Well, it's not a one size fit all.
It
Everything can't
isn't.
be a one size fit all.
It isn't. And then there's always like the outliers that where the conventional solution does not work. Like for my same medical condition, like there's a 20% group of people where nothing that conventional medicine tries works. And I was like, oh yes, of course I'm in the 20%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's me,
That is just in
20%.
my life. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
That's,
good though.
yeah,
Problem
that's,
solving. I think that's a good skill as an entrepreneur too,
oh
because
yeah.
you're always
Yeah.
gonna there's always gonna be a problem.
always lives.
Somewhere
Either,
there's
yeah, either on the delivery end or internally, externally, yeah,
hmm
there's always something that you're grappling with, and it's just a matter of being able to be flexible and maneuver through that. So, yeah.
yeah. Speaking of
Wow.
flexibility, we've tried this a couple times. We tried to go live.
Oh, yeah, we did. That is so true. Oh my goodness. Yes.
So we've tried it a couple times and life was just
Life fade. Oh my goodness. But
so that is a
we made it.
testament. We
We made
did.
it. That's,
We
I think that's
did.
that's what matters. The fact that we were actually able to get it done this time. So yeah.
We were able to get it together
And I think
and
I think it's actually more meaningful now because back then I was still in the throes of what the hell am I really doing with this business, and now it's so much more clearer, and I can actually communicate that to you after doing a ton of reflection. So
hmm
nothing happens. I don't believe anything happens before its time. So
yeah.
yeah,
Timing. Definitely needed it. Timing.
yeah.
And it may I will say because one of the times we had to cancel because I had a death
Hmm.
in my family.
Hmm. Yeah.
With that happening, I had time to think about where do I want my podcast to go? Because
Yeah.
it used to
Hmm.
be like me, I'm just going to talk about what I do and how
Hmm.
you can do these things and X, Y, and
Yeah.
Z. And then I sat down and I talked to
Mm.
Angie Jordan, and she
Yeah.
said, it's called More Than a Brand. Why don't you talk to
Hmm.
people about their that have a business, but not about the business,
Yeah.
about the person, because the person
Hmm.
is the brand. And I started thinking about it, especially because it was my aunt that passed away.
Hmm.
And every time someone spoke about her, they spoke about first of all, she was an amazing cook,
Hmm.
but they spoke about her personality and her as a
Yeah.
person and how you could tell that her meals were built from the love that she had
Yeah.
inside and
Hmm.
who she was.
Yeah.
So it aligned and
Yeah.
it's been a journey, but
Hmm.
it also helped me. And I don't know if they say this in the islands, but they say when you see a cardinal, it's like somebody that passed away. The bird. Y'all
Uh,
don't have
oh yeah,
cardinals.
you the red. Oh, the
The
red. I
red
feel
bird.
like, yeah, I've heard of it, but
Yeah,
usually,
yeah.
yeah,
I was like, wait a minute, do
we have
y'all even
something
have
else.
cardinals?
I think it's like, is it butterflies? We have something else. Yeah, we use something else as like a signifier that
Yeah.
Yeah.
So ever since she's passed, there's been a cardinal. It taps on the window.
Mhm.
If I'm in the kitchen,
Oh my
it's
goodness.
crazy. It taps on the window,
Wow.
and it's been happening since she passed away. And my
Wow.
husband was like, we've lived in the house for a couple of years and we've never
Hmm.
noticed it. So if it was doing it last year, maybe I just wasn't at home.
Oh.
But this year,
Yeah.
and now I'm claiming it.
Period. Yeah.
That is her
Yeah.
telling me you are gonna be okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So it helped me. This has been a journey, being able to talk to entrepreneurs like you and seeing them more than just a title or more than just a
Yeah.
marketing strategist,
Hmm.
who they are as people and
Yeah.
what they bring to their business. So when you're working with them, you feel like you're working with a person, no matter if they have a team,
Hmm.
you're working with a person and you understand where they're coming from. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm
Love
glad you're
that.
here and I'm glad the
I love
timing
that.
worked out.
Yes. Me too. I love it. Yeah.
So, Renee, any last words you want to tell the audience?
Any last words? I think honestly, like we get so bogged down with our business looking a particular way, doing particular things in your business, hitting those revenue goals, and all of that is very important. But I think at the end of the day, you need to remember your why
Mhm.
it is you got in business in the first place, the kind of people that you want to help. What is that driving force behind why you're doing what it is you want to do. And it's not just about the lifestyle, but it's also about the impact and the influence that you want to have. And I think a lot more of us leaning into that beyond the typical markers of business success because is we obviously we all need the revenue and because we live in a because of society that we live in
Yeah.
we need the revenue and that kind of thing, but to me, it's more meaningful when somebody comes to me and says something like, "You sold me on myself." Like the kind of questions that I ask during
Mhm.
strategy sessions, I'm reminding people that yes, you started this for a very good reason. You're working with people for a very good reason, and I think people need to be reminded of that every so often because we tend to get lost or a little bit bogged down with life and all of these decisions that we have to make. But I think even if it's like writing a post-it note with three reasons why you started your business or three of your core values or
Mhm.
something like that, just to have those little reminders that you're doing this for a very good reason and to remember that. The other thing is these folks try and have some fun in your business. Everything is not numbers, and I'm marketing. Numbers are a huge thing. Yeah,
Mhm.
metrics that is important, but I feel like we sucked the fun the fun part out of business over the last few years because we were just like, yes, revenue, yes,
Yes.
yes, audience size, blah blah blah,
Yes,
and it's
10K,
like,
10 days, all the things.
yes, and it's no, but you get to have fun, and I honestly feel like I'm having way more actual
Mhm.
fun in my business now because I am connecting with the people that I want to connect with and talking about the things that I want to talk about in the way that I want to talk about it. Because for the like last year, I remember being so quiet on social media, and I was
Mhm.
like, and I'm a chatterbox, like on and offline, right? I was like, because I just don't know what to say, and when you don't have a what should I say? It's not just about niching down or targeting a specific client, but it's like remembering why it is you're in this in the first place. And as I said, I feel like I strayed or deviated significantly. But when you get back to why am I a marketing strategist?
Mhm.
Who do I want to connect with? What do I want to say to them? And how do I want to help them? Then you honestly, there is no shortage of things to say and no
Mhm.
shortage of enjoyment that comes up because you're talking about the things that you want to talk about. And Parme's Yaz, she's also a marketing strategist, and she says the same thing. She's like, marketing is just talking about the things that you help people with in and the way that you help them do it.
Mhm.
Like her stuff is amazing. She's very profound
Yeah.
in her insights and all of that. But yeah, that's the two takeaways. You know,
Yeah.
remember your why and try to have more fun.
Yes, have more fun. And you don't have to, it doesn't have to be pretty. I like the
Mm.
pretty stuff. I'm a designer, but
Yeah,
if they gotta just get it out there. We'll
yeah.
pretty you can get it pretty
Get it pretty,
later.
yeah, exactly.
You can get
Exactly.
it pretty later.
And honestly, some of the most impactful stuff and the stuff that resonated with people was like stuff I came up with walking down the road, and I was like, you know what? I have thoughts about this. Let me just
Yes.
write a social media post. And like it's
That's
stuff people
me.
needed to hear. So yeah, everything doesn't have to be polished and perfect.
Mhm.
Just get it out there. You can. And also, I have a process now. Essentially, I use social media to write about the thoughts that I have, and then I refine it in emails or blog posts. That is a really good,
Mhm.
it's a strategy that's worked for me. Sometimes people overthink and they get, what should I say, lost in it has to sound this kind of way, it has to be perfect, it
Yeah.
has to, and oh, that's also why I wrote a post about you stop being middle of the road. Like just say the thing that you want to say that's on your heart because the right people will appreciate it. So
They
yeah,
will.
that's
So
it.
where can they find you, Renee, on social media? And so
Um,
anywhere.
I am on LinkedIn, Renee Sarant. You could just search my name. I am on Facebook. You could actually send me a friend request. I'm very active on Facebook. I'm on Instagram at it's Renee Nicole, and I'm on Threads as well at it's Renee Nicole. I love Threads is my new favorite place. Conversations over on Threads. I suppose what Twitter was like before, but yeah, conversations are super wholesome over on Threads. I love it.
And Threads. All
Yeah.
right.
Oh,
Well,
and I
you
also
go
have
ahead.
an email list, well, a newsletter that goes out to my email list, like usually twice a week or so. It's called the Rabbit Hole because
Mhm.
marketing for me is a rabbit hole, and it's more of a yes, you can come down the rabbit hole with me to like just hear my not just my thoughts, but get an in-depth analysis of how marketing impacts your business, whatever business that might be. So yeah, it's part reflection, part insight, part thoughts, and analysis of how things are impacting your marketing activities. Yeah.
How do they get on the list? Do they go to your website?
Yeah. I
Oh,
can send you a link. Yeah, you can just
yeah.
share the sign up link and yeah, you can
Yeah.
join.
All right, y'all. So I'll put the link to get in contact, Renee, get on the rabbit hole, go down the rabbit hole with her. Thank you so much, Renee, for being a guest on More Than a Brand. This was really fun. And you guys tune
Yes,
in for the next episode. Thank
my
you.
pleasure. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. Remember, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with the new upcoming episodes. And if you want to, find us on social media at fierceified.agency on Instagram, or find us on Facebook at Fierceified Creative and Consultant. Send me a DM. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear your input.